Hello, everybody. I'm Amouyel, the Executive Director of Solve, which is an initiative of MIT. And by the way, there's a few seats still here, so I know there's people crowding, like, come. Don't be scared. I'm humbled that you've all come here today. Some of you have walked down a few blocks from the United Nations, but I appreciate you taking time on a Sunday when you could have been anywhere else. Some of you come from Bogota, Colombia, and Boston, Massachusetts, Copenhagen in Denmark, and Cotonou in Benin, Lira in Uganda, and London in the UK, to work together to advance the best solutions to some of the world's most pressing challenges. Back in March, we launched 4 big, bold global challenges, which you saw in the video. These are coastal communities, teachers and educators, front lines of health, and work of the future. I think you all get to know them by the end of today, for sure. These are big challenges, the types of challenges that an institution like MIT, founded as a school of practical application, of problem solving, and of real entrepreneurial spirit, has sought to tackle since its founding. What is new with Solve is that it uses open innovation to find innovators to tackle these challenges. It's about recognizing that good solutions can come from anywhere. We believe that in the 21st century, when we have a wide range of actors across sectors and 7.5 billion people in the world, we have to use the talent, ingenuity, and potential of far more than the very few. So we launched these challenges, and the response was incredible. 1,150 solutions submitted from 110 countries, and we now have over 60,000 online participants. Our Challenge Leadership Group members from across industry, government, and academia selected the 60 most promising solutions to these 4 challenges. And I'm delighted to say that they are now in the room with us today. Our finalist class comes from 20 different countries. 58% of them are from outside of the US. 53% of them are women-led. 62% are for-profit, 27% non-profit, and 12% hybrids. 2 of our finalists, Greenstream and Icy Change, used their technology during recent hurricanes, Florence and Gordon, respectively, to monitor and track the impact of the storms. And all of them are using technology to improve lives in their communities. Today, you will hear from a group using robots to fight urchins to save the oceans, a team that created a vetted job board for migrant workers, a virtual coach for refugee teachers that uses machine learning to help improve educational and emotional development, and a solution that is using AI to increase access to childhood vaccinations across the globe. These 60 finalists are what today is all about. You will hear them pitch their solutions, and the challenge leadership groups will select 30 or more to become solver teams. Our partners, General Motors, the McGovern Foundation, Save the Children, UN Women with Citi and SAP, and other funders, will announce a total of nearly $1 million of prize funding for the new solver class. I think it's at about $950,000 at the moment. So if anyone in this room wants to give us the remaining $50,000, that would be really helpful, both because our solver class will be really happy, and then because my comms director will, the press release will sound better. So yeah, let me know. I want to thank all of these partners, as well as the Mohammed bin Rashid Initiative for Global Prosperity, the Australian government, the Atlassian Foundation, and DevX for making Solve a marketplace for social impact innovation a reality. We could not do this without you. I also want to thank our Solve members, those who joined from the beginning when Solve was still in its infancy, and those of you who joined this week to come to this event. Welcome to our community. The Solver team selected today will join the Solve community, have access to our network, including our members and the resources they can provide, and participate at Solver MIT next May. Between now and next May, our team will work with them to complete a detailed needs assessment, identify mentors, experts, and connections to support our Solver teams secure the partnerships and resources they need to accelerate their work. Today is much more than just the selection process for our Solver teams and hearing inspiring stories from our speakers. It's an opportunity for all of you to meet, to connect, to exchange ideas, and most importantly, to work together and partner. I ask that you approach today with generosity. Offer your time and resources to our finalists, our solver teams, and other members. Be open to making things happen for others, and things will happen for you too. As the year progresses, we look forward to brokering new partnerships for our current solvers and the new solver teams we'll be announcing today. Solve is really not about MIT working alone. It's an opportunity to roll up your sleeves and participate in collective problem solving at a global scale. Solve is about creating partnerships across sectors to accelerate great innovative solutions. And we can only do that when we, and I mean everybody in this room, works together. Before we start, I'd like to thank our finalists. You put in a lot of time to prepare for this. I think you're actually here. So you put in a lot of time to prepare for this, so thank you. And you're already in the top 5% of all the solutions submitted by being here. And that's already a great accomplishment. Especially given MIT's undergraduate acceptance rate is 6.7%. But the last couple of days and today are really about you and for you. And whether you make it as a solver team or not, enjoy today, learn from your peers and from our community, enjoy your success, learn from your failure for those of you who don't make it, and regardless, keep in touch. I'd also like to thank our Challenge Leadership Group members, our judges, who have spent hours sifting through the applications to pick the most promising solutions to be finalists, and who will also be selecting the solver teams today. One of these Challenge Leadership Group members is MIT's very own Chancellor, Cindy Barnhart. Solve's commitment to open innovation, partnerships, and social impact very much reflects MIT's ethos and mission of bettering humanity. To tell you a little more about it, I'd love to welcome Cindy to the stage.
Thanks so much, Alex. It's great to be here. So on behalf of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, it is my pleasure to welcome everyone to the 2018 Solve Challenge Finals. To our 2018 Solve finalists, congratulations on making it to this stage. You have traveled, as Alex said, from 12 US states and 20 countries, and your proposals have been selected from a crop of more than over 1,000 submissions. You've earned your spot here today because you are the best of the best, the innovators and problem solvers who give us infinite hope for a better world. Your proposals in this year's challenge areas are remarkably promising, and they are proof that solutions to some of society's most pressing problems are squarely within our reach. I know I speak for every member of the Solve community, whether you are watching the finals here or you're tuning in online, when I say I wish all of our challenge finalists the best of luck with your pitches. And we are exceedingly grateful for your commitment to social and environmental impact and to inventing a brighter future. I also think it's safe to say that the Solve community has something else in common, and that something is unshakable optimism. We believe that by adhering to a core set of values, excellence, meritocracy, boldness, collaboration, a passion for solving difficult problems, we can make a difference. So the tagline for MIT's Office of the Chancellor is all things students. That means that it's my job to support and work side by side with MIT students, some of the most talented, curious, collaborative, and inventive people on the planet, individuals who are undaunted by and equipped to solve the 21st century's biggest challenges, and young people who feel a profound sense of responsibility to pay it forward. Why am I saying all this? Well, it's to say that optimism is my job's best fringe benefit. It's impossible to go to work with these students every day and not feel hopeful about what breakthrough discoveries, cures, inventions, and technologies are just around the corner. And it's impossible to stand in this room surrounded by all of you and not be energized by this possibility. That's the beauty of Solve. It truly is a movement, a marketplace, and a force for positive change. By leveraging Solve's core principles, optimism, partnership, open innovation, human-centeredness, and technology, and its convening power, we are changing lives and shaping our collective future for the better. At MIT, we are thankful for Solve's inspiration and for its impact. And we are thankful to the global community of optimists that solve, let's try that again. The global community of optimists that Solve brings together to make a better world. Thank you. And once again, best of luck to all our finalists. I'll turn the stage back over to Alex now.
Thank you very much, Cindy. In the spirit of open innovation, Solve is not only open to anyone to apply, but we're also open for anyone to comment and vote for their favorite solutions. In the lead up to Solve Challenge Finals, nearly 5,000 people across our community voted for the most promising finalist solutions for each challenge. While voting does not determine which finalists will be selected as Solver teams, our judges will certainly take these votes into consideration. So I'd like to now recognize the 4 finalists who got the most votes for the Community Award. These are, drumroll, for teachers and educators, Science for Sharing. Yay! For Front Lines of Health, Clinic Pacer. I don't know where they are. Oh, yeah, yay! For Work of the Future, Refactored.ai. And for coastal communities, Eco-Coastal Liners. Oh, super. So a big round of applause to these 4 finalists, and we wish you all the best, of course, for today and to all the other finalists in the pitches. As Cindy alluded to, the first of Solve's values is optimism. We believe big challenges are solvable, and that's why we do this. So it's only fitting that our opening plenary focuses on this value. While there's still much to be done in the world has made great progress in the last decades. We can do much more by taking risks and investing in innovation to enable early-stage social entrepreneurs to validate and scale their business models and their impact. So to discuss this topic, please welcome to the stage David Sengeh, Chief Innovation Officer of Sierra Leone and formerly at the MIT Media Lab, and our moderator, Hala Hanna, Managing Director of Community here at MIT Solve.
Thank you. Hello. Hi, David.
Hello, good morning.
So, Chief Innovation Officer of ... Government. That is an interesting combination. Tell us what that is about.
Yeah, it is. This is the first time Sierra Leone has a Chief Innovation Officer, and I think it's in part a testament to the leader that we have. When President Bio came into office, and he called to ask me if I wanted to come back home, it was a question around what can you do, what are you best able to do, and he created this Directorate of Science, Technology, and Innovation and asked that I lead that in the Office of the President. And as the Chief Innovation Officer, I also serve as an advisor to the President and to the Chief Minister within State House. But essentially, the vision for DSTI, the Directorate of Science, Technology, and Innovation, is twofold: to help to support government with its national development plan to effectively and efficiently develop and implement on its priorities. And the second part really is to think about how to create an innovation and entrepreneurial ecosystem in Sierra Leone, how to support that, because there's already a nascent one, and how to make Sierra Leone into a hub for innovation, and innovation within government, because usually those two words aren't necessarily said in the same sentence. But essentially, it's a question of a president and a leader who has a vision for what he thinks the country needs at this moment in time. And I called lots of friends, some of whom are in the audience, actually Megan Smith, the former CTO and advisor to Barack Obama, and I had lots of conversation about this. And I consulted with lots of people in creating the role. But the role was created and custom to what the president needs, what Sierra Leone needs, what my background is, and what I was bringing to the table.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what a senior government official looks like these days. It's true that we don't think of governments as being innovators, and it's great to see this trend being broken, because it is. It's not something that we can do without. We've grown up as a generation that has quite low trust in government, that is taught in school very often to bypass it to go faster. But it looks like what you're trying to do is actually innovate from the inside rather than out of the edges. Would love to hear more about that.
Right. So my background, did my undergrad in bioengineering at Harvard, did my PhD at MIT Media Lab with Hugh Herr, working on prosthesis, and then worked for IBM Research Africa, where I then did a lot of AI in healthcare. And obviously, as a technologist who's doing AI, you feel like government is not necessarily where you go, because government is so slow, government is so large, government. And I believed that too, until I listened to and until I had a conversation with President Bill. And there are three ingredients necessary for innovating within government, right? From our point of view, from my perspective. And one is an authorizing environment. And it's not simply political will, but it is that you want a boss who clearly understands and has a vision and who's going to support you at the top. But you also need a broad spectrum of youth and creatives and the other who are willing and able to absorb such innovations, even if it comes straight from the top. So the authorizing environment is essentially you need somebody at the top who supports this and makes this a priority, and a large and broadened ecosystem of creatives and the others who are willing to absorb whatever comes out. And then the second part is technical expertise. And that technical expertise need not just be from within. And that's part of what's interesting about this is my background was in private sector research, and I moved into government. And it's not just more and more in my capacity, I now interact with people who are experts and they're consultants who come to advise governments on what the technical solution is, but they've never written a data architecture in their life. They've never written code before. They don't understand what a data lake is. They don't understand what it truly means to link one data set to another data set, even though they ask you a question. So are these things going to be interoperable? Are these going to be linked? What's the synergy, right? So, and I think it is that you have experts who have generally advised government using these words that we truly think that they know, but they've never done it, right? And so the technical expertise that I'm referring to is really about having people who've done it. So the people on my team, the people who I'm bringing on, it's like Mohamed James, who has worked for, I think, 7 to 10 years as a programmer in both government and private sector. Kumba Musa, who's this young lady who's also been an engineer within government, but writing programs. And so when somebody comes to me and says, oh, I did IT, which many people do, I say, oh, that's great. Have you ever written code before? And many of whom haven't, right? And it's also then the link with our educational system and why it's important that people are able to think computationally and that people are able to build. And so that's the technical expertise that I mean. And, you know, these days, the people on my team are learning machine learning and doing machine learning in State House. And the third part is resources, right? So resources are there. Generally, we feel like, and those resources are both, so data, inclusive of data and money, and the data are there. If you ask and go get it, the data are in government, right? It requires you to do work to clean it, to pre-process it, to link it to other ones. And I think the money is also there because those development consultants that I talked about are paid very well. And so it's about redirecting the money and the resources that are there now to supporting the people who are doing, the people who are solvers, the people who are coding. And those are the three things that you need. Right. And Sierra Leone has two of those. And resources with the government, like I said, we're in the office of the president, and we do have a government budget line, and cabinet has endorsed our work plan. And so for what little we have, we've put our monies where our mouths are. But in terms of the broader ecosystem to implement the projects that we need, that's where we'll need a lot of partnership with other foundations and private sector and other governments as well to provide the resources. And it's not just about money. Right. It's also about the technical expertise and the people who can do.
So development industry, beware. David's coming for you.
To work with you, to actually do and solve problems.
And job requirement, please know how to code.
It's important.
Yes. Yeah, I have to go back to school. That's great. And you know, and it must, your team, you know, you're talking about your team, and it must be also they look up for you, to you as their leader, and that they're in government because they're encouraged by you, and by the example that you're setting. I'm wondering, you know, as someone who's been an entrepreneur yourself, there surely are lots of setbacks when you're an entrepreneur, but you're also in control because it's your business, it's your, you know, it's your project. It's a little less the case when you're inside a big machine like the government. How do you cope with that? And maybe what word of advice you'd like to leave the young entrepreneurs here to encourage them to follow your path?
It is difficult, but I must say I have the complete support of my boss. There's never a time that I want to speak to him and he's not available. So it's because then in the conversation that we're having, as I picked this job, it was that I wanted creative freedom. It's also not common to go to, I don't know, to the president of your country and say, look, what I really want is creative freedom. But he got it, and he's offered that, and the people around him get it, and they've offered that, because there's no way we're going to be agile and future focused and be problem solvers. So all these ethos that we're building around the team and follow formal rules, because by definition you can't innovate by being formal, because being formal means you're following rules. And if you're following rules, you're not going to be able to expand the set of possibilities in the realm of problem solving, which is what you need to be creative and to innovate. And so there's this clash of being formal and being innovative. And I think for now, I do have the leeway of being innovative and not necessarily being formal. I've never worn a suit in State House. And I meet the president regularly, and I work very closely with the chief minister and all the cabinet, and people, the youth, and I've never worn a suit. And nobody's ever asked me to do that. And so then there's an element too around being informal, or rather avoiding a set of rules that define what it means to be creative and what it means to be innovative. And that also goes through across with the team that I have. They can send me a message at any point in time, send me a voice note, I send them a message. We randomly have ideas in the group chat, and you can post it on the fly as well. So it's about really allowing ideas and the best ideas to always come forward.
And it's, you know, it's very interesting to hear that, because you bring your creativity also to all realms of your life. I mean, you write songs. I'm not going to ask you to rap, but you're a designer. It's really interesting that it's kind of like one area of creativity feeds into those many others.
Right. I mean, I think people like to think that as humans we have to be one thing and one thing only. And so I have a daughter. She's 2 years, 8 months, Moinina. And as we interact and I play with her and think about what she needs to be when she grows up, the first thing that I have to do is to not be prescriptive about it. She does not have to be one thing. She doesn't have to be a category of person. And I think for me, I've always struggled with being labeled and with being placed in a box. Even now, I don't want to just be a government official because it doesn't do justice to all the other things that you're interested to do and to pursue. You can be a government official and be a designer and be a rapper and be somebody who plays football regularly and be somebody who just is silly, because that's what it means to be human. And that's what it means to be creative. And with Nina, I also found that it was so common, and I found myself saying that, oh, be careful, be careful. Everybody, including when you're traveling, everybody just always is instructing her to be careful. And so I went back I was reflecting on this on the flight here, and it's not, there's an assumption we're making that she's not in control or that she doesn't know what she's doing. And really, when we ask people to be careful and try to limit them and wrap them into our own limitations of what we have, it's an injustice to them, because then what the core is, it should be a question. Are you in control? Are you in control of your body? Are you in control of the decision that you're making? Are you aware of the consequences, right? And if you asked her that and she said, yep, I'm in control, then you don't need to tell her to be careful. So I don't want anybody to tell me to be careful.
Well, David, he did. Thank you so much for this lesson in bringing the ethos of experimentation to government, and a lesson in parenting as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, David.
Growing up in a country like Indonesia, quality education has always been seen as privilege. And the teachers and the content that are available in the market right now are not as good as we expect. And that is why we created Ruang Guru. We want people to access educational content as easy as they watch Netflix. That's how we envision what technology can do for education.
Digital Superheroes Academy is an educational app that teaches critical thinking, life skills, and soft skills to vulnerable children living in slums and construction site camps. Since becoming a solver, we have completed the development of the web application, and we hope to expand throughout the rest of Thailand, into Myanmar and Cambodia, and throughout Southeast Asia.
We operate in areas where there is little to no internet and fluctuating electricity. So to be able to create a personalised learning experience for children, we sync all the information that we put on the cloud onto a master tablet, and it's literally motorbiked out to a village where there's a local server, and whilst they're on the system, we sync all the progression data back onto this motorcycle syncing system so I can get back to the cloud.
At DFAT, we firmly believe that great ideas can come from anywhere, and the name of MIT is known around the world for science, for technology, for innovation, and we thought by partnering with MIT Solve, we were going to attract the best ideas.
Our strong partnership is demonstrating that collaboration is key to solving the world's most complex problems.
Our organisation has now launched in its second country, so we have so much to thank Solve, Atlassian and DFAT for everything that they've done to increase children's learning in now 2 countries.
Because of the funding from DFAT and Atlassian Foundation, we have been able to launch a program that we believe will help thousands or even millions out-of-school children in Indonesia to get employed.
Being a solver is much more than prize money. It's about connecting with an ecosystem of partners to bring the best resources to get solutions scaled and transform the lives of thousands or millions. Not many of you know this, but we met at Atlassian Foundation about 18 months ago in Dubai at the Varkey Foundation's event. And one of their staff members showed up to all 3 of our challenge design workshops. And so by the second one, I put him in charge as a table facilitator for a session which ultimately became the basis for our Youth Skills and Workforce of the Future challenge and the start of a fantastic partnership. So I'm very happy to say that the partnership with Atlassian and the Australian government has developed and grown over the last 18 months. It's centered around the clear commitment to support our solver teams. And I'm really excited to show you an update regarding the partnership from Sarah Pearson, Chief Innovation Officer at DFAT, who unfortunately was not able to join us today, but has sent a video message. So let's watch the video.
The Australian Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade is really thrilled to be able to announce our continued partnership with MIT Solve and the Atlassian Foundation in this really important program, which is helping to build the capability and opportunities for youth in terms of the workforce of the future. We're seeing the rapid technological change is really having a big impact in terms of youth in the Indo-Pacific, so it's very important for us to support this program. Great ideas have come up in the first round, ranging from helping disadvantaged youth to access education through online platforms, through to robotics within the Pacific Islands. Of course, it's great to support the early ideas, but then you need to scale those ideas for bigger impact. And so we're thrilled to be able to announce an additional $1.3 million that DFAT is providing for the scaling of these great ideas. Part of that impact is actually the partnership that we have with MIT and with Atlassian, and we are so excited to be continuing with this partnership.
And now, please welcome Mark Redding, Head of Foundation at Atlassian.
Thanks very much, Alex. At the Atlassian Foundation, as some of you have heard before, we have the goal of helping to educate 10 million disadvantaged youth over the next 10 years and to equip them with the skills for the workforce of the future. We believe that behind every great human achievement, there is a great team. And through the Youth Skills and Workforce of the Future Challenge, we believe we have the foundations for a great team. As Alex said, in May 2017, in partnership with the Australian Government, through the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, we announced initial funding of $1 million in support of the Youth Skills and Workforce of the Future Challenge. We are really passionate about supporting the solvers. And so I'm absolutely delighted today to announce that we're going to commit a further $1.3 million in funding for the Youth Skills and Workforce of the Future Challenge solvers. The 4 solvers with whom we've partnered will all be eligible to share in that funding. So that's Ruanguru, 40K, Raspberry Pi Foundation, and Open Learning Exchange. Our goal of helping to educate 10 million disadvantaged youth is a very ambitious goal. And if you're inspired by the solvers and you're inspired by that goal, and you're interested in joining us, then my colleague Michelle and I are very willing and open to having you approach us as well. We'd love you to be part of the team. Thanks very much.
So we've only just started, and we have another $2.6 million. So I'm really excited. And some of our youth skills and workforce of the future solvers didn't even know about this. And we invited them to breakfast early to make sure they were here. So congratulations to all of you. This is great news. For me, this partnership and ongoing commitment represents really the best of when three organizations from different sectors, so government, corporate, and academia, come together to support open innovation and social entrepreneurs from all around the world. So we have a lot to do today. The selectors finalists will pitch in 4 sessions. There's 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. You have the opportunity to ask questions, and the judges will select 30 or more solver teams to be announced in the closing plenary. For the new solver class, we'll also announce nearly $1 million of funding and new partnerships. You'll also hear from the Mohammed bin Rashid Initiative for Global Prosperity on our partnership with the Global Makers Challenge. So we have an exciting closing plenary as well with very inspiring speakers. And don't miss it, and don't miss finding out who the solvers are.